Have you ever felt lightheaded when you stand up, noticed your heart racing for no clear reason, or experienced waves of fatigue that seem to come out of nowhere? Do you sometimes feel like your body's automatic systems, your heart rate, digestion, temperature, or energy, are simply not regulating the way they should? Many people with chronic symptoms eventually encounter a word that finally seems to explain what they are experiencing: dysautonomia. But what exactly does that mean, and why does it appear so often in people who also identify as highly sensitive? That is what we're going to explore today. Welcome back. I'm Madeleine Lowry, a neural retraining specialist. In the last few episodes, we have been talking about sensitivity and the nervous system, and why sensitive people tend to process life more deeply, and how that can sometimes lead to patterns of nervous system overload. Today, we're going to talk about a condition that often arises in this context: dysautonomia. Many people struggling with chronic symptoms eventually learn that their autonomic nervous system, the system that regulates automatic body functions, has become dysregulated. Understanding this system can be incredibly empowering because once we understand what is happening, we can begin supporting the nervous system in returning to balance. The autonomic nervous system is responsible for regulating many functions that happen automatically in the body. These include things like your heart rate, blood pressure, breathing, digestion, body temperature, circulation, energy regulation, hormone balance, and fluid balance. Most of the time, we don't think about these processes. They simply run in the background, quietly keeping the body in balance. But when the autonomic nervous system becomes dysregulated, these automatic systems may begin behaving unpredictably. That condition is called dysautonomia. Let's talk about what dysautonomia can look like. It is not a single disease, but rather an umbrella term that refers to dysfunction in the autonomic nervous system. The symptoms can vary widely, but many people experience things like dizziness or lightheadedness, rapid heart rate, heart palpitations, blood pressure fluctuations, fatigue or sudden energy crashes, temperature dysregulation, digestive issues, brain fog, shortness of breath, difficulty tolerating standing or exertion. And some people are diagnosed with conditions such as POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, or orthostatic intolerance, or vasovagal syncope. But even without a formal diagnosis, many people experience symptoms that clearly point to autonomic nervous system imbalance. Now, let's take a moment to connect the dots on why sensitive people are more prone to these conditions. One reason dysautonomia appears so frequently in people with chronic illness is that the autonomic nervous system is closely linked to the stress response. As we've discussed in previous episodes, sensitive nervous systems tend to be more reactive and more responsive to stress. Therefore, sensitive individuals often process emotional experiences more deeply, notice subtle changes in their environment, carry a high level of empathy and responsibility, and push themselves to meet expectations. Over time, this can create chronic activation of the stress response. When the nervous system remains in that heightened state long enough, the autonomic system can lose its natural flexibility. Instead of smoothly adjusting to changing conditions, it becomes overly reactive or unstable, and that's when symptoms of dysautonomia begin to appear. And the symptoms can often seem mysterious. One of the most frustrating aspects of dysautonomia is that symptoms can seem inconsistent or unpredictable. You might feel fine one day and terrible the next. Or you might notice symptoms triggered by things like standing too long, heat stress, emotional stress, dehydration, or overexertion. Because these triggers vary, people often feel confused about what is happening. But from a nervous system perspective, the explanation is often quite simple. The regulatory system itself has become dysregulated. The system that should be adjusting automatically is struggling to find equilibrium. Let's look at the role of the brain in dysautonomia. The autonomic nervous system is controlled largely by brain centers involved in survival and stress regulation. These areas constantly evaluate whether the body is safe or under threat. If the brain perceives ongoing stress or danger, even subconsciously, it can maintain the body in a heightened defensive state. Over time, this can affect your circulation, your heart rate control, energy regulation, digestion, immune function, and more. This is one reason dysautonomia is often seen alongside conditions such as chronic fatigue, long COVID, fibromyalgia, autoimmune illnesses, or sensitivities to food, chemicals, or the environment. These conditions frequently share a common factor: nervous system dysregulation. And this is where neural retraining becomes relevant. Because neural retraining works directly with the subconscious patterns that keep the nervous system in a chronic stress response. Rather than forcing the body to regulate itself through effort or discipline, we work with the subconscious mind to neutralize the emotional and neurological patterns associated with past stress experiences. As those patterns dissolve, the nervous system gradually shifts out of its defensive mode. And when that happens, the autonomic system can begin doing what it was designed to do: self-regulate. Many people begin noticing improvements such as fewer heart palpitations, less dizziness, improved energy, more stable digestion, better temperature regulation, greater tolerance for activity. These changes don't happen because we are forcing something. They happen because the nervous system is finally able to return to a more balanced state. Interestingly, the same sensitivity that makes someone more prone to nervous system dysregulation can also make them more responsive to neural retraining. Sensitive individuals often have strong awareness of internal sensations, a greater ability to enter meditative states, and a nervous system that responds quickly to subtle shifts. When the subconscious mind begins to release stored stress patterns, sensitive people often notice the changes quite quickly. Their nervous system remembers how to regulate itself. If you've experienced symptoms like dizziness, heart racing, fatigue, or unpredictable energy, and you've been told you may have dysautonomia, it can feel frightening or discouraging. But it's important to remember that the autonomic nervous system is highly adaptable. It is constantly learning and responding to the signals it receives from the brain and the body. When we begin working with the subconscious patterns that keep the nervous system in survival mode, the system can begin finding its way back to balance. And for many people, that is when meaningful healing begins. If you'd like to learn more about this work, please visit us at tcneuralretraining.com. Schedule a free consultation by phone, take our free quiz, or schedule private sessions via Zoom. And if this episode resonated with you, please follow the podcast, give it a positive rating, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Content of this podcast copyright 2026 by Twin Cities Neural Retraining. Music by Barbara Ben.